Welcome to Doodles in the Margins, the podcast for creatives who are building something beautifully their own. Here, we believe creativity isn't just art, it's also how you think, how you solve, and how you see the world. Whether you're a business learning to embrace creativity or a creative learning to embrace business, you're in the right place. I'm Jacinta Marshall-Crouse. I'm a creative business coach, screenwriter, author, and an all-round eclectic creative. So, let's grab something hot to drink, grab a pen, and let's doodle in the margins together. Welcome to episode 1. If you've listened to episode 0, you know that I worked in a bank for quite a few years, starting in the call center where I spent 5 years on the front lines, helping customers with their day-to-day banking. The last 3 of those years, I moved into quality control, monitoring phone calls, but it also meant managing data, building dashboards, running reports, and yes, living inside spreadsheets. At the time, I didn't think of myself as being creative, but now I see that work for what it was. I wasn't just filling in numbers, I was solving problems, I was solving patterns, and crafting better ways to share information. It was logical, sure, but it also required my intuition and innovation. That was me being creative. Later, when I moved into business banking, I suddenly felt the creativity feel even more alive. Clients would come to us with dreams and plans, some small, like buying a new ute, others bigger, like building a warehouse or purchasing a crane for their expanding operations. And it became my job to take those numbers and turn them into stories, to help the decision makers see the why behind the what, to blend data, ratios, and financials into something compelling. It was analytical, yes, but it was also a narrative. I was helping people tell the origin stories of their business growth. And that is one of the most creative things I've ever done. We've all been taught to see creativity as painting or poetry or playing an instrument, but creativity is much more than art. It lives in the quality controller spotting trends no one else sees, the business banking manager telling human stories through numbers, the teacher who turns a dry topic into an experience, and the developer who redesigns a frustrating user flow. Or maybe you're the parent who invents a new bedtime story on the spot. And here's one of my favorite recent examples. Consider the operations lead who mapped out a whole new workflow using color-coded sticky notes. And let me tell you, I have plenty of those on my desk. It wasn't art in the traditional sense, but that visual system saved the team 15 hours a week. That's not just efficient. That's intuitive and strategically creative in action. So if you've ever improvised, clarified, reorganized, or reimagined something, that's being creative. And it does count. But then, why does this matter? When we expand our definition of creativity, we stop waiting for permission to call ourselves creative. We start recognizing the value of what we already bring to the table. And we start building businesses that reflect the full spectrum of how we think, feel, and solve. Creativity isn't just the opposite of logic, it lives alongside it. It helps us problem solve, build connections, and stand out in noisy markets. And this is why I do what I do. Helping creatives embrace business and helping businesses embrace creativity. Because somewhere in the middle is a new kind of brilliance. And let's be honest, that kind of feels like you, doesn't it? So let's reflect on that. What's one way you've shown up creatively in the past week? Even if no one else would have used that word. So write it down, say it out loud. Or you know what? Tell someone you trust. You're more creative than you think, and your work matters more than you know. I'd like it if you share with me. Feel free to add a comment on my Substack today to share with me how you've shown up creatively in this past week. Let's celebrate that creativity. Thanks for tuning in to Doodles in the Margins. Each week we explore what happens when creativity meets clarity and how to build a business that feels like you. If you found something useful today, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to get clearer on your own creative business path, you'll find links and ways to connect in the show notes. I'll see you next time.